Hello everyone and welcome, my name is Andrew Can, together WeKanGame, here to confront Jacques, the boss of the Dreamweaver's world. Jacques, as I like to say, is Jack in French, and when we see him, that'll come into full tuition. This realm has 2 dragons, and has 500 treasure, so definitely a larger world. As you see, you want to search around fully, because they're really getting much more sneaky with how they hide these things and hide the treasure. And there's a lot of fools in this world, which we're gonna have to manipulate time yet again. And a new introduction of new enemies, such as the armored Norks. They're not so much new as they are new placement. What I mean by that is we haven't actually had a requirement to kind of charge and jump before, so it's really interesting to see that mechanic come here. So yeah, that's cool. I like how you actually have to start using a little bit of creativity, using your mind to kind of solve these creature placement, these Nork placement. They're not necessarily impossible, they're just different, and different's pretty good, especially when we're getting close to the end here. I mean, we're coming up on what I want to say is about 4,000 gems after this. And yeah, it's really becoming quite a challenge to see, find these gems and treasures, and it's just becoming a lot of fun personally for me. I've been enjoying it even more. I love the latter stages where they're a little bit more challenging. Now for this, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get these 2 fools around here. So here's the first fool we're going to want to torch. Going to wait for him to go this way. Then, going to want to get this fool. And I flame the fools, because this is now down, so we can easily fly to this dragon over here and speak to Unica.
Thank you for releasing me.
Simple thank you. Maybe Unica. Unica kind of sounds a little bit feminine. Again, not exactly positive on how to pronounce these names, but I like how the fools now influence the shape of the terrain. And this segment's kind of interesting. Like I mentioned, interesting creature placement. So we're gonna have to try to fly around here and get them all in one go. We don't actually have to try. You can land on the platforms. I don't know. I like to try to do things like that, save time. But obviously I failed, so saving time, it wasn't working that time. Again, I failed. Okay, I failed all of that. I'm actually going to do this right. I don't want to fail again. So what you're going to want to do is land on this platform. So, going to get them one at a time, get these treasures down here. I don't know. What do you think of later levels in games? I know a lot of people usually don't particularly like them because of the challenge. I don't know. I actually love them for that reason. I find that having more challenging levels, obviously, you're going to want that, but later on, it gives you a reward. I mean, if games stayed easy from the beginning, I mean, where'd the fun be? That did not work out as I wanted it to be. But I love a good challenge, and it makes me happy to see a bit of challenge in this game, because I'm not going to lie, it's fairly simple. But compared to the second game, it is so much easier. The second game, they really take this model which they have and utilize it so much. And I realize that I'm talking more and more about the next games in these latter episodes because I do plan on covering them. Obviously, like other sequels I've done on like other game series in my channel, I like to do the first game. I like to play through them in a series. But now that I've covered Spyro 1, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage will be in the future. I don't know when exactly, but someday, for sure, Spyro 2 will be played. And that excites me because I've definitely played Spyro 2 much more than the first one. And there's no real reason other than the fact that the daycare I used to go to, they usually would have Spyro 2 out compared to the first one. So that isn't anything against the, it's nothing against the game personally, it's just that I had more exposure to the second one, and it was a newer game, so it makes more sense they would showcase that. And I failed. Alright, I did it. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but, sometimes you can't control what happens. Alright, so now that we have that cleared out of the way, we're going to want to flame this fool. just quickly jump over here. These Norks with the flowers, they're really kind of interesting. I kind of like to think of them as like, I don't know, when I was younger I always used to make a joke that they were someone's date that they left behind. Like they didn't want, like a guy brought him a flower and never picked him up again. I guess I was a cynical child thinking about it, but I don't know. I kind of found it funny when I was younger. And I would like to know, do you guys ever play games from your childhood again? Like obviously I've played a lot of games from my childhood on my channel, and it's just because they're games I grew up with, and I like to go back to them every now and again when I want to think of how my life was way back when. Or were you a kind of place where you couldn't play video games when you were younger? Were your parents really strict and you just couldn't? I actually know a couple of people like that where they couldn't play video games when they were younger. Oh god, that scared me. But yeah, their parents didn't agree with video games and they weren't allowed to play them, and you know, not dissing their parents, but that's a decision they couldn't control. Cynicism of my childhood aside, I don't know. Were you allowed to play video games, and do you revisit games from your childhood was the topic I was on. Obviously, I can do both. Wouldn't be playing these games if I could not. And yeah, I always get a good memories when I play games like this again. Now hopefully this time I won't undershoot this. There we go. Halfway done with the treasure count on this world. So let us be careful and grab and flame these fools. I like to keep the alliteration up. Come on. Alright, grab this key and 2 yellow treasures. But of course we're going to need them again to get back, which is pretty cool, I guess. Okay, that was a little bit weird. Oh no, oh no. Oi. Alright, deaths aside, gosh, just not having good luck on Jacques. Jacques is one of the more difficult bosses, and I guess maybe my crack at them being abandoned by their dates is coming back to haunt me. But let's quickly climb down these stairs one at a time. Very, very tricky treasure placement, and I love it. Insomniac Games had a great thing going here, and then they traded it to Activision. But let us speak to this dragon Revelio.
Any advice before this battle?
Advice? A wise dragon once told me, aim high in life, but watch out for flying boxes.
Huh?
There's a couple of things funny with that. Revelio being kind of ironic because, I don't know, it kind of sounds like reveal. I like how Spyro even acknowledges that his boss battles really haven't been battles. But one thing I like about this box is I mentioned that Jacques means Jack in French, and if you notice he goes to these boxes, so he's a Jacques in a box, Jack in a box. Very, very punny. Insomniac Games can appreciate the puns. I don't know, they were really, the humor in Spyro 1 and even in the later games is so good. Or at least for the Insomniac saga. It can, not going to lie, can leave such to be desired in later installments, but he drops 4 purple gems, bringing our total up by 100 there. So let us fly over here and collect these last treasures, bringing us up to a even 500, I believe. Quickly watch that count and be scared that we did not miss any. We got 2 dragons, 500 treasure, and we've defeated Jacques, bringing our total up to 10,500. And we enter the final realm, which is we're really wrapping this up, folks. Spyro 1 is almost done. But in the next episode, we will speak to this balloonist here and enter the final realm of Spyro the Dragon. Let me know if you ever replay games from your childhood in the comments below. I'm really curious to find out. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.